Welcome to the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland in our webinar ALSS-Neuromarketing. My name is Fadil Çitaku. I'm a professor of leadership and emotional intelligence, and I've been teaching the brain in Swiss higher education for decades. So I've been teaching anatomy and physiology, and for more than 10 years I've been teaching neuroleadership, lately in neuromarketing, neurobusiness. So everything what has to do with the brain, I'm very much interested in. And my aim and the aim of the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland is actually to bring the newest insights to the classrooms, newest insights from the neuroscience, to simplify them and teach the others how to succeed. So a part of that, I am the founder of the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland, that it is based in Zurich, but operates worldwide. And I am the supervisor at State University of Zurich, ETH, regarding didactics. So in this webinar, I'm going to talk about the brain physiology and especially its impact in neuromarketing. So to explain system 1 and system 2 of thinking in neuromarketing, and to bring some practical tools for implementing in neuromarketing strategies. So my motto is get to know your brain. It is the key to your limitless potential. So we know actually the brain, it is who we are, and it makes this individual of us. So as mentioned before, I was fortunate to learn the brain as much as possible and the newest insights from the technology. So it enables us actually to get to know brain much better. So you can see here I've been teaching the brain, was a picture with teaching life, actually students here in Switzerland. And I do sports, and I actually encourage everybody to do sports and to move, because the best training for the brain are exercises, activities. And this enables me to be much more focused and to be able to teach much better. So let me talk shortly about the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland. It has been established almost 10 years ago here in Zurich. We are based on the first floor here at World Trade Center Zurich, about 5 minutes drive from the international airport in Zurich. So why did we open the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland, or why did we establish it? Actually, that time, and unfortunately, as we are talking now, the biggest threat for the human being are non-competent leaders. So it has been there a lot of writing about leadership. It has been there a lot of there have been a lot of books written about leadership, but unfortunately, few of them have evidence-based or grounded theories, which indeed tells us, how the brain works. And so we need this kind of new approach, actually. The old theories are, worn out. We cannot rely on them. Just let me give you one example, the great man theory. So we can say it's a big rubbish, because where are the women over there? So, and just to name one of that. So the aim of the Academy of Leadership Sciences Switzerland, it is actually to do research and to get to know the newest insights from the neuroscience, to simplify this, to bring to the practice, and to help others to grow. So our activities are giving courses, short courses, 8 hours, till PhD actually. But I have to admit, we are not a university. We are an academy and have great professors from all over the world. But for master and PhD programs, we always collaborate with universities to affiliate those programs. But regarding the short courses and advanced courses, ALSS advanced courses, we provide those courses on our own. What we do a lot of research, and as mentioned, with plenty of researchers worldwide, and we want those insights to bring into the practice. We simplify this that incorporates people can use them in different kind of domains. And we do advising, coaching, and consulting for individuals and for the companies, organizations, states, politics, and so on. Our activities are, as you can see, we have many courses and programs in all of those domains, such as leadership in business, administration, leadership in higher education, leadership in politics, in healthcare, in law, in sports, and IT and innovation. We have established the Center of Excellence, which it is one in Zurich and one is in Ras Al Khaimah in Emirates several years ago. And we do a lot of courses and workshops over there and here in Switzerland and online and actually in many countries worldwide. So as you can see here, I've been teaching personally in many courses, many workshops. We have some pictures here in Emirates, for example, but as well in Switzerland and elsewhere, of course. So we are glad to spread our knowledge with the world. Everything 100% evidence-based. I've written 4 books, so you can see leadership competencies in medicine and healthcare. It is in English. It is one in German, as you can see how to react in emergency situations, and neuro leadership. It is here, and emotional intelligence as well. And all these books you can actually order on Amazon. I have to inform you regarding the subject that I'm teaching in this webinar now. So I have just published the book a couple of weeks ago, actually, regarding neuromarketing. In this book, it incorporates the newest insights from the neuroscience. It has 235 references, everything evidence-based. It is very simplified guide, as mentioned, with the scientific foundation. It has practical tips and it has ethical insights, because it is very important in neuromarketing, you know, to incorporate as well ethical insights for successful product selling and brand development. And you can order this book on Amazon as well. As mentioned, it is one of the fewest, or maybe the only one worldwide, which really has a very deep scientific foundation, but very good. It is simplified that everybody can understand it, and it has practical tips. And as mentioned, it has ethical approach as well, because it is very important to consider this issue too. So you can order it in this book on Amazon at any time. About neuro leadership, just, you know, the definition, it is a new approach of leadership based on neuroscience principles, and it explores actually how the brain function and affects behavior of the leaders. So you can see those neurocells, they are connected with synapses here, and nowadays we can observe, you know, a single cell actually, and the new synapses as well when they occur, and so on. So the new technology helped us actually a lot to observe what's going on in the brain and to simplify this and give this, teach the others how to better actually behave and to make better success for their business and their daily life. So nowadays, actually, it enables computing, to observe a single cell in the synapses. Some of them, they will die. Some of new ones will emerge, as you can see here. So we need this very, very actually new technologies, which enables us one-to-one to observe what's going on in our brain and how can we use, those insights to be more successful in business and life. So we have developed two models, research-based models of leadership. And the first one carries my name. It is Leadership Competency Model Çitaku. And I have investigated actually 6 different kind of countries, such as Switzerland, Germany, Austria, USA, Canada, and UK. And we came with 63 leadership competencies that can be learned, and it is everything evidence-based, starting with social responsibility, innovation, self-management, task management, and justice orientation. These are the domains within this model, but there are 63 competencies incorporated in this model that can be learned. And we have been teaching this worldwide, in many countries. As mentioned before, that time I have investigated all these countries, the most developed countries of the world, and we came with this 63 leadership competencies. And part of the study we have published in British Medical Journal. And people who come from medicine and healthcare, they know that how difficult it is to get something published in British Medical Journal. So you can consult this article, of course, this study for free in British Medical Journal. You find it for open access because we want the world actually to profit from our insights. The previous model was based in medicine and healthcare, and we wanted actually to see, the generalizability of leadership competencies. And we came with our second model that has been published 2020, as you can see, and it incorporates 25 leadership competencies which can be learned. So let's talk about, the brain a little bit and the brain plasticity. So the neuroplasticity of the brain, it is actually ability to modify itself. So we know now that brain can repair and can modify itself, can form new synapses, those are those connections, and produce even new cells. Those are the brain cells, those are the synapses. And the good thing is those cells of the brain or neurons, they can connect with many other neurons. So neuroplasticity of the brain of the child, it is much higher than to us adults, of course. And it occurs, of course, reflexively, so-called. So, for example, walking and talking and learning the mother language that child has, he or she doesn't need actually, to learn grammar and so on, but they just learn reflexively. And in adulthood, it is this plasticity much less than in childhood. And it needs more focus and attention. So it's much more difficult to learn in adulthood than in childhood. So we have a very interesting actually case, with one child, just to justify this higher plasticity of the brain in childhood. We have one case in Holland. The young girl, she had one big infection in the brain, and the neurosurgeons, they had actually to cut, as you can see, half of the brain, almost half of the brain, and included actually the part of the brain where the center of speaking, of the center of speech, it was. And that time, actually, the neuroscientists and the medical doctors, they thought that this girl will never talk. And so we have it, now the case that that girl actually talks Dutch and Turkish too. So it shows us that even though without one speech center, the brain ability to, repair itself, it was enormous. Let me talk about some neurotransmitters that increase attention, because in neuromarketing, it's very important actually to draw attention, to your potential customers or to your customers. So one of these neurotransmitters, it is so-called the dopamine, and it is involved in reward and pleasure. It plays a significant role in attention, motivation, and focus. The other one is norepinephrine or epinephrine or adrenaline. It helps to enhance alertness, focus, and concentration. So epinephrine and norepinephrine actually are very much aligned with dopamine as well. Always when this epinephrine or norepinephrine it's produced, so it gets produced dopamine as well. So it helps epinephrine and norepinephrine, it helps actually to enhance alertness, focus, and concentration. Acetylcholine, it is another neurotransmitter, but it is, of course, involved in different kind of cognitive functions, and including attention and memory, and very important for learning as well. Just as a serotonin, beside of other functions that it has, it plays good role actually in attention too. And glutamate, it is as well involved actually in attention and in learning too. So our brain wants us always to be safe. And if you see the newest insights from the neuroscience, so we can see that parts that are involved in emotion are majority of biology of the brain, we can say. Unfortunately, at school, and we didn't learn much about emotions. We were learning much more about prefrontal cortex, and called this rationality. But unfortunately, now we know this part, it is very limited. It is very important, of course, but it is very limited. And since our subject today it is neuromarketing, so neuromarketing and decision making for customers to buy something, to buy products, it's very much involved, this primitive part of the brain and the emotional brain. And if you compare this rationality brain and this prefrontal cortex here, let's say, and emotions, so it is a huge, actually, amount of the biology of the brain that has to do with emotions. So we could compare just as a Milky Way, for example. And regarding the rationality, it is a very, very tiny part of the brain. So you can compare with this meter square here, actually. And the other thing, it is very important actually in neuromarketing, because we need to know that our brain actually wants to save energy. So if I ask you now how much it is 5 plus 5, so you could actually easily answer, because it doesn't need much energy, because you have repeated it many times and it is automated. But if I would ask you now how much it is 350,000 times 342 through 355,000 and plus 443. So you see that it might be difficult to answer this question actually, because here in prefrontal cortex, it would need much more energy and much more effort. and our brain seem to have difficulties to solve difficult operations actually. So that means in marketing, regarding neuromarketing insights, so you have to make your advertisement and your products attractive for people that it doesn't need for brain too much effort, you know. So that means actually buying and decision making for buying, it goes in this kind of primitive part of the brain. And as we see, you know, from the spinal cord here, you know, this part, it is more primitive, you know, we can say. And this part, you know, cortex, it is, or new cortex, it has been later developed. And so it needs much more effort actually here for those operations. But regarding, you know, emotional part and this primitive part, so they would work much more non-conscious level, in unconscious level. So we will come then later to this impact of this. So that's why I'm trying to explain to you the physiology of the brain and impact for the neuromarketing. So in neuromarketing, and not only that, but in everywhere actually, in when we have to do with decision making, so the neuroscience has developed actually Kahneman, which he has actually got the Nobel Prize for some of his discoveries. So he has mentioned the first, this kind of system 1 and system 2. And as we can see, system 1 has to do with those, as mentioned before, with those emotional part of the brain, with those primitive part of the brain. And this is very fast, actually. So it has a high capacity. It is unconscious. So it is rather implicit. It has low effort, so it doesn't need much oxygen, for example. You know, if you have to, you know, solve that mathematical operation 5 + 5, so it goes rather in this part. But the other mathematical effort, you know, an operation, as I mentioned before, very complicated, of course, it needs high effort, and we are then in system 2. And it goes automatically. System 2, as you can see, it is slower because the information from our sensation, from our, you know, visual, or from hearing, or tasting, or touching, and so on. So it is, you know, it goes to the brain, of course, but it goes to those parts, you know, that are rather fast, as mentioned, but it takes time, you know, until information goes to the system 2, to, you know, to this prefrontal cortex, for example. It has a low capacity, and it is conscious. It is explicit and high effort. So the brain needs a lot of oxygen and energy, actually, you know, when system 2 is involved, and it is rather controlled. So to summarize, we don't want to talk against our brain and system 1 or 2, but regarding marketing and neuromarketing, so people much more focus, actually, you know, it drives them to buy system 1 rather than system 2. And if we simplify those insights, that means don't make actually difficult advertisement, don't make difficult for your customer to choose a product. Now, as mentioned before, I just wanted to justify this from the part of neuroscience, neurobiology. So we see how much this prefrontal cortex, or neocortex, it is this fun. It has a actually it has problems, actually, as because, you know, it is very slow. I mean, from neurobiology, as you know, seen. So we see actually in 50 millions bits from 200ths of seconds, it comes. So huge data, in this part here, in the primitive part of the brain and in emotional part of the brain, and it takes pretty a lot of time until it comes to the prefrontal cortex. And as mentioned, both parts of the brain are very important, but you can see always, if you compare, this rationality and emotional part, so emotional part always will win actually. So that means for neuromarketing that emotions actually drive buying. So be aware of that. So your products, they have to integrate emotional part. And so don't make afraid with your products, or as you try to sell your products, don't make afraid your customers. Because, if you make them afraid, the likelihood it is that they will not buy actually. So we have this amygdala, which has a lot of fear, but of course, amygdala has as well, registered good and bad things as well, what happened to us. So make sure that your customer doesn't get afraid, when he or she wants to decide to buy something. And this slide shows that, this, as I mentioned before. So try to be kind to your customer, of course, and try to make him feel safe in your environment, in what you sell there, that he or she is not afraid, because if he or she is afraid, she will be angry, she might have fear, even will come to the acute depression. So if you are fair, you have to be always fair, because remember this, the customer should come more than once to you. So it's absolutely against yourself and your company if you try to be untrue and to cheat somebody. This is not ethically okay, correct, and definitively you will damage your brand and your company. So if he or she is afraid, as you can see from the neuroscience, those impulses from amygdala will go on the right side of prefrontal cortex. And if he will be unsure, and fear and so on, and probability that he will buy, it's low. So if you are calm and if he feels safe in your environment, and if you give, for example, him possibility, even if that doesn't suit, the shoes, for example, or whatever, that item that he or she bought, that you enable him or her to return and take another one and try and whatever, he or she feels safer there. So it's in better mood, and he or she might be then in flow, and probability that he or she will buy your product will increase. So emotions are very important actually in decision making. And as you can see here in this slide, we have a case which it shows actually how important are actually emotions in decision making. So we had a case of one very successful lawyer in USA, and unfortunately he had one brain tumor, and medical doctors, they could successfully get out that tumor of his brain, and he still was very smart. But the problem is he couldn't actually work as a lawyer anymore. His wife left him, and his life was destroyed, and he went to consult Professor Damasio, and he made with him, Damasio, with his lawyer, a lot of different kind of tests, and everything he did great. He still was very intelligent. And when he asked him, actually, when Damasio asked his patient, when should we meet the next? So the patient, that lawyer, couldn't actually make a decision just to make one appointment. So you can see, very simple, decision, but he wasn't able to do that because this connectivity from the part of emotion to the prefrontal cortex, it was cut due to that intervention, surgical intervention. So this showed actually very good, that emotions are crucial in decision making. So when we translate this in neuromarketing, it's very important. Again, I'm repeating, that products of us are, they have to be, to wake emotions. Because if we take one example, for example, I mean, if you see rationality, you can buy one very, very cheap car, and go from A to B. So this is a rationality, actually. It brings you there. So you don't need to buy one Porsche over 100,000 Swiss francs or euros or dollars. But about Porsche, it is not actually, rationality to bring you from A to B. Of course, it has a lot of comfortable different kind of devices and so on, but it is emotion that actually drives us to buy such a car. And I know what I'm talking about because I've been driving Porsche for decades. Decision making has to do with wisdom of emotions or gut feeling. So we know now from the neuroscience, and I don't want to actually disappoint you, but it is a very big knowledge, this gut feeling. And depending on culture, sometimes people, they say gut feeling or heart feeling or whatever. In English speaking world, we call that gut feeling. But this is actually a pure knowledge that we have, which it has been stored in basal ganglia. But this part, it's not connected directly to the cortex directly, and especially to that verbal cortex, which it is in charge that we give one word, to that phenomena. So, but we have a lot of data that actually decision making has to do with this, as we call gut feeling, but it is actually poor knowledge in basal ganglia. So it cannot tell us in words, but it tells us in feelings. So it feels good. So I feel. And regarding neuromarketing, as mentioned, again, it is very important that your customer feels good actually in your environment. Now, why should we care about neuromarketing? We have this traditional marketing, but we can see, some disadvantages that this traditional marketing and research has. So these interviews or focus groups, as you can see here, or surveys, are declarative techniques actually, and they have been used in this traditional marketing research, but they have a lot of biases actually. Because sometimes people have problems to explicitly verbalize things. Sometimes they are very biased because consciously sometimes or unconsciously, that they don't know why actually. Influences from different kind of stereotypes here, cognitive biases they have, emotions, social and moral norms, and some things like that. Incapable of expressing exactly what he or she feels, thoughts. It's difficult to express them, and what it motivates them to buy and to decide for buying actually. So when we know that those are, those difficulties of, and due to the new actually development, especially in information technology nowadays, we are able to measure many things, actually, how the brain works synchronously, actually. So it emerged this new approach or new science called neuromarketing, which it is the application of neuroscience principles and techniques to understand and influence customer behavior. So as you can see here, this lady wears those eye tracking glasses, and we can see then where focus is actually based. Or as we can see here in this electroencephalography, so we can see it actually live, how those waves are emerged in what kind of situations exactly, because we can measure, those brain electrical activities. So there are several techniques used in neuromarketing, and there are three categories, as you can see, techniques that register brain physiological activities in our central nervous system. There are techniques that register other physiological activities in peripheral nervous system, and other techniques that register behavior and conduct. So one of the techniques, it is electroencephalography, as mentioned before. And the good thing it is actually it's being portable nowadays, and relatively economically. So you don't need too much to invest for that tool, and provides valuable information on brain activity. With this technique, the brain's electrical activity is analyzed and registered. And it has small sensors, of course, which are placed on the scalp, sorry, yeah. This method detects changes in the electrical currents of the brain waves. So this minimal EEG, it is oriented to a final application that is comfortable and easy to use, with fewer sensors, placed strategically on the areas of the brain that need to be registered. So as you can see, this on the left side actually could be used for neuromarketing. And of course, if you want to make a diagnosis on brain diagnosis and something, when people have different kind of diseases, so you can make a sophisticated one. But for the neuromarketing would actually, be enough this minimal list EEG. Another tool, it is functional magnetic resonance, and this actually can scan, let's say, or map brain activity even in the deep structures. The previews would make rather in the surface of the brain, this EEG will show us, those electrical waves, but with fMRI, functional magnetic resonance, we can actually even see the deepest parts of the brain activities. And it shows when one part of the brain it is active, so it shows more blood flow and more oxygen, because that part it is being more activated. But one disadvantage, it is very expensive methodology, and those activities, they come a little bit, couple of seconds later when the activity has occurred. Another tool, it is so-called galvanic skin response. And this is a technology that evaluates, the galvanic response or skin sweat, actually. So this method, as you can see, measures and registers the activity of endocrine glands, sweat, after exposure of marketing stimulus that was physiologically exciting. So this information we get live as well, actually. And it is not very expensive to use, as you can see. Another tool, it is the electrocardiogram, and we know this from internal medicine or cardiology, but we can use this in neuromarketing as well. And this device registers the electrical activity of the heart by placing sensors on the skin. In neuromarketing, as you can see, this electrocardiogram can be, of course, employed because it enables information to be collected in the real time on the emotional state of participants and exposed to the publicity stimuli, of course. So it is easy to use and reliable as well. Another method, it is this eye tracking method. It is a technique that measures and registers eye movements to identify the position of the eyes, in utilizing infrared light, actually. So eye tracking identify visual path as a response to a specific stimulus and therefore obtain information on visual attention. So in marketing, we can see, where he or she was focused, and we can get use of it, for example, in different kind of advertisement or packaging of products and so on. And then we will see, if we have to change something or, leave as it is. Another important technique, it is so-called partial coding in neuromarketing. And this tool measures and registers the voluntary and non-voluntary movements of facial muscles, actually. And so we can measure the likelihood if he or she likes that product or not, So there are many muscles of the face, and this methodology can capture many of them, actually, and give us reliable insights. And some, criticize this method that it's not much reliable, but we always say, in combination from all of those methodologies, so reliability and validity, it's always, it's higher. But yeah, some, scientists criticize this method, but many of them, they actually apply this. Now, I'm going to show you some of our courses that we offer at the Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, related to the neuroscience, neuroleadership. It is one course in business. It is ALSS Advanced Certificate, so it lasts 8 weeks, and it is 100% online, and it is very cheap, as you can say, for 3,000 Swiss francs. So you can get this course certificate. You will get the certificate issued from the Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, one of the most advanced, actually, academy in the world regarding the neuroscience and neuroleadership, bringing everything 100%, all our courses and programs are 100% evidence-based, as mentioned. So you can take this course beside of your work, so you can still work 100% what you work, and you will get this course. You can take this course for only 3,000 Swiss francs, sorry. So we start this course monthly, and the intake is ongoing. So do not hesitate to send us an email. As you can see, email is here, and we will send you the all information to register. The other course, which it is very much 100% based in neuroscience, and very simplified, by the way, all the courses that we have, because many people are afraid when you talk about brain and neurons and science, they say, it's difficult. But I've been teaching for 23 years, in Swiss higher education and teaching abroad as well in PhD programs and so on. And I've developed methods that really simplify very, very difficult, um, contents. And this is our aim, that everybody understands that. So don't be afraid to learn new insights, because we really explain them very, very easy, that everybody understands that, and it is very applied into your practice. So this neuro business, very important and very new course. So we encourage everybody involved in business to take this course, because indeed it will enable you to understand much better, your employees. It will enable you to understand different kind of issues. It enables you to remain healthy as well. It remains you have to enhance your resilience regarding stress, and so on and so forth. And the other one, which it has 100% to do with our subject today, and I encourage all people, business, from marketing, to take this course. It is neuromarketing, and we bring here the newest insights. As you have seen, I have just a couple of weeks ago published that book, Neuromarketing. So I encourage you to take this course, and definitively your products you can sell much better, because unfortunately the old fashion of marketing, it doesn't bring success. And unfortunately, of course, it's very important to have a very good product, because if you don't have a good product, it's difficult to sell. So all products that we do, including my products here, we have to serve the human being. Absolutely. So this is very important. But the other thing is marketing, actually. And I can tell you, as a professor, as a researcher, at the beginning, I was very much involved only on creating, courses, 100% evidence-based, me and other professors and so on. And we didn't value enough the actually effect of the marketing, and it is extremely important. And now regarding neuromarketing, so we really have a lot of insights that can help you, and we have been helping many companies and are still helping a lot of companies to incorporate, neuromarketing in their businesses, and definitively they will sell, and they have been selling much more, and you will sell much more. So don't hesitate to take this course, and don't hesitate to contact us additionally, that we can help you in incorporating neuromarketing in your company. We can test your products, and we will see what will go better, and what you have to improve, and what you should keep. So we encourage you to take this course. Here we have our contacts at the Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland. So you can reach us per phone, you can reach us per WhatsApp, or all those other tools, mobile phone. You can reach us per email, or this is here, you can see here our website, which you, by the way, find all the courses, programs, and so on. And I'm going to end this webinar actually with this quote, which I heard really in original from my son, Çitaku, who was that time 3 years old. And I was playing with him, building some towers. And, I didn't do very good. So my towers, they just were falling down. And he asked me, so a quote, I give you an advice, build something stable. And really it made me reflect that, because we don't have to be scientists sometimes, to realize something. So even one child tells you build something stable. And you can see him as a teenager when I took him to California, and so we saw Muhammad Ali because he had a strong will. So we make this picture here with him. Now he's studying informatics at State University, TH, here in Zurich. And but I wanted to quote him actually. So I want just to say, build something stable, invest in neuromarketing, and we are here ready to help you to improve your business. We can help you in neuro leadership. We can help you in neuro business, and of course, we can help you in neuromarketing. So do invest with the newest insights from the science, from the neuroscience, and forget, old rubbish things which, we have been listening for many times, and it didn't work much, or it worked nothing. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for listening. Feel free to share this webinar with all of your friends. It is for free. It is a social responsibility from Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, to give some free lectures, as well as I'm doing this one. We have done many of this, and we are still doing. And we would be delighted to help you to achieve your goals. So do not hesitate to contact us. And again, thank you for listening, and don't hesitate to contact us. Again, I'm showing you this address here, our contacts, sorry, but you find our address as well. It's everything here in our website. Thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.